Hello there my RPG lovers and welcome to another video. Strategy games usually have a comprehensive economy system which can't be ignored by the player. In city builder games, for example, the whole gameplay loop is revolved around creating a healthy economy system. Aside from the huge mechanical role in the game, it helps in creating a believable world. The worlds in Elder Scrolls games and RPGs in general are usually trying to come off as very believable with organized communities, factions, cities and so on. And while there are some glimpses of the economy in these games, it's all very basic stuff with no real depth. This probably won't be an issue with most players, because there are more important things to get right in the game, but creating a real economy would definitely improve these games in more ways than you think. I don't like to exaggerate when I talk about features that I want to see in games, and this video won't be any different. Instead of changing the core elements of the economy, I would like to see more improvements in this field, starting with how the merchants get their goods. Implementing trade routes and NPCs that will gather materials in the world would probably not be extremely hard to do. Ever since Oblivion, the AI can travel between the cities, so adding more purpose behind their suicidal ambitions would be great. We already have traveling merchants in Skyrim, but I'm talking about actually having a proper trade routes which will restock the merchant's inventory every once in a while. The player should definitely be able to affect these trading routes in a couple of ways at least. Let's say you play as a bandit, for example, you could try to rob and take the loot from these traveling merchants or caravans even. But this shouldn't be easy by any means, and there should be strong consequences for committing such crime. That's just one of the ways that the player could be involved with this system, but there is plenty of more that could be added, which will open up the possibility for more playstyles. Maybe we could try to bribe those caravans and merchants and intentionally cause harm to one of the store owners, or even completely stop a particular trade route by using our influence. Your influence should be the key factor in most of these scenarios, so for example, if you become a Thane of one of the holds, besides just buying a house and reminding the guards of who you are, you could have more benefits like this. That would probably mean that gaining influence should be harder than it currently is in Skyrim for balancing reasons. Starting our own business could also be one of the new features if there is a proper economy in the game. Things like opening your shop and hiring an NPC to work for you, then setting your trade routes. Adding layers of depth on top of this wouldn't be so hard after making a strong foundation for this system. For trade routes to work, the prices for items should not be the same at all merchants. The prices should probably have a dynamic system which will have a couple of factors in mind when determining a price for a particular item. Bethesda should probably not have to change the core of their pricing system, but some tweaks should be made if they want to create a proper economy. Every item in most of their games has a base price, which is used to determine how much is worth in transactions with merchants. For example, in Skyrim, your speech skill and a couple of enhancements will affect these prices. Only in some rare occasions the NPC will give you a discount if you did him a favor. They could just add more factors that will affect the prices regardless of the player. I think that different holds should have different prices, and you could try to take the advantage of this. Buying materials in one city and then selling those same materials somewhere else for a slight profit could be one of the ways of making some money. This could be related to those trading routes we mentioned before, and like I said, it has to be a dynamic system, otherwise it could be easily exploitable. If all of the above sounds overly complex to implement, I can assure you it's not. A couple of games that already have something similar would be Mount & Blade Warband and Pine. Mount & Blade have an incredible economy system and it deserves a lot of praise, but I will just point out a couple of stuff. One Reddit user described the whole economy really well, so I will quote one part of his post. Bandits, including yourself and aggressive lords, destroyed caravans and took their cargo. When this happens, the town which would have received the cargo doesn't, meaning it is undersupplied and must wait for the next caravan to A. decide the route is more profitable than the current one, B. successfully make the trip. In the meantime, the town suffers shortages of demanded goods, increasing prices and thus route profitability, and eventually reducing prosperity to a level where existing supply meets all demand. Something similar could be applied to future Elder Scrolls games to a lesser extent maybe. The NPCs don't have to produce the materials themselves, they could just act as gatherers, which would be easier to pull off. In order to do this, things should happen in the world with or without the player's involvement. Oblivion had a more aggressive AI system when it comes to this, but this was still present in Skyrim to a lesser extent. That's just another thing that could be added on top of the regular NPC schedule. The AI can already travel around the map and interact with the environment in a couple of ways, so gathering resources for cities and villages should be even easier to pull off. I mentioned Pine before because NPCs in that game function in a way that I'm describing. Everything is happening with or without players' involvement in the world. You will usually stumble upon materials which are already looted by someone else. And you can even catch those gathering NPCs in action and choose to fight them for materials. These NPCs will take the materials to their village and give it to the trader or even trade with other factions. You can witness all of this and even check what new materials the trader got from the gatherers. I think it's really easy to imagine something similar in Elder Scrolls games. Earning money should be a fun process in these games, and implementing the economy system would definitely help with that. Some great mods try to fix some of these issues like trade and barter, simple taxes, trade routes and so on. But I would really like to see these features as the part of the original idea. All of this sounds great, but to be honest, I'm worried about the future of this franchise since Bethesda is acting crazy these days. Anyway, if you liked the video, press the thumbs up button and subscribe for more content. If you already did, consider clicking on the bell icon so you don't miss any future uploads. I do in-depth guides, news, discussions and reviews. Special thanks to my patrons and YouTube exclusive members, and if you as well want to become one of them, all the links are in the description. And I'll see ya in the next one.